Here's something that'll blow your mind. 80% of recruiters' time is wasted, and much of it often spent chasing jobs they'll never actually fill. But what if AI could completely transform that equation?
That's so true, Bob. So much of what we find ourselves doing is not on task that lead to income, and it really highlights why the recruiting industry is at this massive turning point.
You know, I was just diving into this conversation between me and Kevin Franks, me with over 40 years of experience, swearing by phone calls as the best way to recruit, and Kevin, who owns a recruiting firm and has been in the industry 25 years, now pioneering automations and AI integration. The contrast really shows how the industry is evolving. I thought it would be good to continue this on this Illuminati call.
Well, what's interesting is we're both actually fighting for the same thing: meaningful human connections, just coming at it from totally different angles.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Traditional recruiters are finding that their tried and true phone calls aren't working like they used to. I mean, when was the last time you actually picked up a call from an unknown number?
You know what? I can't even remember. It's like we've all developed this collective phone anxiety. That's precisely where these recruiting automations can help. They're basically a lot of AI systems connected together that handle all the grunt work. We're talking about everything from scheduling to proposal drafting, even initial client and candidate outreach.
So what exactly makes these AI systems so much more effective than traditional methods?
Well, imagine having an AI assistant working 24/7, sending personalized messages, screening responses, and only flagging the most promising prospective clients and candidates. The experts say it's like having a team of super efficient assistants who never sleep.
That could completely transform how we recruiters spend our time, focusing on building relationships instead of cold calling hundreds of people who might not even be interested. And here's the real kicker. They're drilling down on something called the Pareto principle. Those can't help job orders I mentioned, they're usually dead-end projects because of things like unrealistic salary expectations, impossible qualifications, or overly complicated hiring processes. You know what this reminds me of? And it's an odd comparison, I know, but thinking of how dating apps evolved from simple matching to using sophisticated algorithms for meaningful connections.
That's exactly right. And just like dating apps didn't kill romance, AI won't eliminate the importance of human connection in recruiting. If anything, it might make those connections even more meaningful.
But what about those diamond-in-the-rough candidates who might not look perfect on paper? Those individuals that a good recruiter can pull out of the pack and figure out how to present.
Well, that's where the sophistication of modern AI comes in. These systems are being trained to look beyond keywords and checkboxes, identifying potential and transferable skills. One expert mentioned they're even developing AI that can automatically recognize patterns in successful past placements.
That's fascinating. So it's really about using technology to enhance human judgment rather than replace it?
Precisely. And here's something else that we focus on. Top sales organizations have been using similar AI tools for years, with incredible results. When recruiters can focus on pre-qualified, interested clients and candidates, their success rates can triple.
Well, that makes me wonder about smaller recruiting firms. How can they compete if they can't afford sophisticated AI systems?
Other experts have actually addressed that. We recommended starting small with basic AI tools for email automation and calendar management, then scaling up as the technology becomes more accessible.
So it's really about finding that sweet spot between high-tech and high-touch approaches?
Yes. And looking ahead, I predict we'll see even more highly personalized hybrid approaches. A human-in-the-loop solution. AI handles the heavy lifting of identification and initial outreach, while human recruiters focus on what they do best, building relationships and making complex decisions.
That actually sounds pretty exciting, like we're getting the best of both worlds. So I know you build the recruiting automations for your own firm and others. Can you give us an actual use case of what one might look like?
Absolutely. We spoke with another recruiter who wanted to add a desk in a new niche. Actually, it was one they had worked years earlier that was getting hot again. To us, this is a lead gen project, first and foremost. So our initial goal was to produce those 1,500 clients in that niche, just like you have always taught in your Marshall Plan.
I have, and that is one of the hardest things for new recruiters to achieve.
Believe me, I remember. So I set them up an agent that would use the recruiter's own specifics of the industry, company size, positions, locations, all the key parameters. That agent went out and pulled in 1,500 company leads within the first 2 days. From there, the agent parsed the data into the client's CRM so they could make contact.
That is really impressive.
It is, and it isn't. What's really impressive is what we did next. And by we, I mean our automation took those contacts and routed them through a couple of different AI systems to craft an outreach email that was personal to each individual. It drew information from their website or LinkedIn to be hyper-specific to each person. No boilerplate in-mails or standard templates. From there, we drop these into an email program that begins sending them out as they come in, automatically. It even sends as many follow-up emails as we want.
Wow. Okay, I think I am beginning to see the true power of these AI agents. So to this point, sounds like all the recruiter has done is give you a list of parameters of what his ideal customer would look like.
Correct. We also added in another step in the automation that sent a LinkedIn connection request from the recruiter. We could have also added other social media connections if wanted. The next step will be to show an enhancement to this automation. That is, of course, up to the client's specific needs, but could be to add AI phone outreach. This is a little more costly, but something that is really incredibly impressive. Or maybe they want an agent to automatically generate client proposals and initial invoices simply by changing a status button. The thing is, you are not using some expensive software program to do this, even if they could. You own it. You control it. You can turn it on and off as you want. Many of these automations are incredibly affordable to put together and run.
And that's really the key takeaway from all of this. It's not about choosing between human touch and technology. It's about using both together to create something better than either could achieve alone. The future of recruiting isn't either or, it's both and.
We just have to adapt and be able to better use the tools at hand. I think we also must acknowledge that those of us who are getting a bit older need better ways of connecting with the younger generations. While you may want no part of social media, your AI agent can handle that task and the heavy lifting for you. AI is a tool, a massive lever in fact, one we have never had access to before.
So I am curious, and I know you and I have talked about this before. I can see as the owner of a recruiting agency why you would want it, but as I understand, you have pivoted much of your business to offering these services to other firms. Have to ask why?
The simple answer is money. I have a unique background in marketing, technology, and recruiting. Like you, over the years, I have met and made friends with a lot of firm owners, and realized that we really all face the same challenges. AI agentics are going to be huge, and I was ready for a new challenge. Also, I feel like a rising tide lifts all boats. Our industry is losing too many of its truly gifted performers. I want to show them that, with the right tools, the magic of recruiting is still there. Also, due to some of my other business pursuits, I was deeply involved with AI from the start, and in doing so I made connections with other AI and automation experts around the world, and frankly, the US is behind the curve on this one.
By other pursuits, Kevin is leaving out that he is a best-selling author of numerous books, many of which deal with AI. But what do you mean that we are behind other countries when it comes to AI agents?
Yes, unfortunately. In many parts of the world, AI automaton's top niche is recruiting firms, typically followed closely by realtors and law firms. Here in the States, though, we have been much slower to adopt.
Any idea why that is?
I could take a few guesses. One is definitely that AI is a polarizing topic to some people. I am not going to even begin to get into that subject. I simply view it as a tool. Just like email, or the websites were 25 years ago, or heck, even the word processor and ATS systems we now take for granted. AI is going to offer you a way to grow your business and increase your margins without adding to your headcount or headaches.
I know we are going to have a lot of questions on this and need to probably schedule you on a follow-up call. Just looking at the chat, I can see several people already wanting to engage your services. How can they do that?
Simple, they can visit our website at comp-search.com or email me at kfranks@comp-search.com. We can schedule you for a free no-obligation discovery call to see if our recruiting automations would be a good fit for your firm.
There you have it. RoboCruiter lives on, even more capable than the man I coined that term for years ago. Kevin knows I was not initially a fan of AI, at least not until he showed me a few simple ways it could help me. To say that it has already revolutionized my own approach is an understatement. It is a huge time saver, and, as I have said many times, it's better than I am at things I thought I was pretty good at. Have the conversation with your team. Reach out to Kevin for a demo. I think you will be amazed at the possibilities.